Okay, so it's officially time for cuttings update. Look at all these guys. I am drowning in cuttings here, but that's good news. So let's just go ahead and go over them. And yeah, this is a little too much, so we're just gonna do a few at a time, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the mulberries. They're awake. They definitely rooted. Look at that. Those are pretty healthy set of roots there. They look happy. However, because they have so many roots, it's time to put them in a pot, and I haven't gotten to it, but I think they're definitely ready and they gotta go. Okay, so I tried to test out different environments. So I had some and basically just, the regular baggies, kind of like I showed you guys how to do. Basically just a bag, tape it up, and don't worry about it. Then I had this one with an open bag because if I don't need to take the extra time to do the little twist tie or the tape, I mean, it's kind of nice. So I wanted to test that out. And then there's the ones with the punctured bottoms. So I figured this guys would still stay closed even though this little twist ties keep falling off. Oops, sorry, there you go. Even though this little twist ties keep falling off. This is basically meant to stay closed. And then I just made little holes down here. They're itty bitty, but just enough that water does go through in case they were drowning. And then as a last thing here, I have one set here that had the open bags and the punctured bottoms. So basically what I found was that these guys were the first ones to root from this set, and these ones are also the only ones that have this kind of baggies. So I actually thought that was really interesting because I get these guys for free, but I wonder if they're somehow keeping it warmer in there, or maybe it's just less soil, because this guys, even in this set here, the one that took the longest to root is the one with the other packaging. This was the last one to root, and he does look better now, but he definitely took his time. But I mean, he was still growing his little side branches and everything, so he still looks fine. But he was definitely the last one to root in that box. So I just thought that was interesting. But also keep in mind that these guys have multiples. So these guys have three or two little cuttings in one, whereas these guys over here really only have the one. So that's what we're seeing right now. And okay, so the open bag, I figured, hey, if I can make this easy, why not? The problem was that I started getting mold. So that's not ideal. At first, it was literally just the one back here. So I decided to close them back up because the closed ones were not having that issue whatsoever, nothing. So I basically decided to close him up. But, eventually, sure enough, this guy's started showing signs of mold. So I'm just going to go ahead and close them up altogether. I just don't want to deal with that. I also have fungus gnats indoors, and there's not many. Every now and then I see one or two, but it's enough to freak me out that they're gonna get in here. So I think it just has to be closed off. It's just the way it's gonna work out for me. But that's just my preference. You guys can do it whatever way you guys want. And then this guy's had the punctured bottoms. There we go. And if you notice, there's still plenty of moisture down there, which is why I chose this guys to be the punctured bottoms, because that way they could drain out if they needed to. But they've been pretty dry this whole time, so I mean, no leaking or anything, so I think they're fine. And they look healthy, they look happy. They are starting to drop some of the little flat leaves, basically. So I'm thinking that they may need to be potted up shortly, soon. And I think that should help. But I mean, they're not bad. They all look pretty healthy for the most part. This mulberry, I mean, they look leggy, but these guys are usually super tall anyway. Like those guys back there, those are from, the smaller versions. See those guys back there? Those are the ones that I didn't turn into cuttings because I just had too many. So they're definitely leggy, they're tall, and that's what they've been doing. But they've been rooting, so that's cool. Oh, okay, and so the red dots over here, those are the ones that have actually already rooted. So in here, all 6 of them have rooted. And here we have two that have rooted with the open bag, 2 out of 4. Let's see. And then the punctured bottom, we have 4 out of 6 that have rooted. And with the open bag and punctured bottom, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that have rooted. So yay. It would have helped if I would have made them all in equal amounts for test subjects, but it just came down to the size of the box that I had. But yeah, okay, and let's see, what did I feel about this, guys? Same thing, a lot of the, okay, so once it starts dropping its little fruit, which, you know, I was pretty sure they were going to drop them anyway because they don't have enough nutrients stored in them to actually go through with the whole process, and there's nothing in there, nutrients, so yeah. But yeah, so anytime these little guys fall off, they fall straight into the containers, and then they start getting moldy. So like this right here, this was part of a plant and it fell in there and they start getting moldy. So that's not, it's not ideal. So I'm just really not liking having it open. But yeah, but we'll fix that. We'll fix that. So overall, I liked these little baggies. They are free. They seem to hold the moisture in super well. They don't hold as much cocoa coir as these guys do, but that's fine because they store close enough. Like, look at this. So this guy versus this guy, like, they are not much different. So that's pretty much why I think I'm just gonna stick to my little free baggies. I don't need to use the other ones anymore. And they root so well. I'm so excited. Okay, so that's with the mulberries. Let's see what else. And I forgot to mention, but these guys were started on the 5th of February, so they actually rooted pretty fast, and they are happy. Look at that. Shiny, yay. So today is March 5th, and they all have pretty... you know, they actually just started rooting not too long ago. So the roots are actually not that amazing yet. Look at that. But they do look like healthy roots overall. So I think they will be fine. See, look at that. That's how they started last year. And yeah, they're doing well. Okay, see this one? You can just see the smallest little piece over there. Yeah, so I mean they just started rooting, so it took about a month, but they are doing well and they will do well, hopefully. Okay, and this is the figs, and this guys came from the orchard, and they are doing okay. They actually just started rooting. You can see they're super thick, big, huge cuttings, but they are taking a little bit longer than the other fig to root, but that's okay. So I still have this 9, and you know, something funny happened with this, guys. I actually forgot to wash the cuttings, to wash the big branch when I brought them in. So I actually didn't realize that they may have had I don't know, a chicken poop or something. Something. It had something in them. So a lot of them at the bottom, you would be, I ended up finding some mold spots. So right where the cutting would be. So I had to get rid of those. I think there's 4 of those outside. I didn't want to keep them next to this guy just in case, you know, mold. But overall, they're doing okay. Most of them are fine. It was just I think the thickest branches, I think those, because they were at the bottom in the orchard, I think the chickens were close to it, and I think that's why they had so much bacteria in them. So I forgot to cut them, to wash them. So that's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, so overall figs, these guys are still taking a little bit long, but they just started rooting. Okay, and sometimes I really like to push the envelope, and so I ended up doing huge cuttings like this. I pretty much just kind of want to see just how much I can get away with. But so far we don't have any roots. We don't have any signs of them just yet. And actually, we're seeing signs of this guy's drying up. So they look pretty dry. And I don't know if they're gonna make it, honestly. But that's why we're testing it out, just to see how far I can go. So in this one over here, I have basically the figs, and they were started on the 5th as well. They're the same variety, the one in the orchard. And yeah, so I'm testing out this bag versus this bag, and we'll see what happens. But so far, none of them have any roots, and I think it's just gonna be, I don't know, a few more weeks if they decide to root. I think they will, but I think they're basically gonna die back and just start a new side shoot or something. But I think they will, but you know, we never know. Okay, now let's go over this section. So I have the Pakistan Mulberry, and those are the ones that you actually saw me doing in my video on how to do this, guys. So these are those same cuttings. This mulberries I did, and I think I just posted on my TikTok, but I don't think I posted it here. So yeah, so these are the mulberries, Pakistan mulberries. Then we have a fig that I can see right outside my window, and I can't remember the name either. So once I find it, I'll label them properly. Then I have this mulberry, which you guys already saw, but these guys are just overflow. And these guys are the figs that I mentioned earlier, the orchard ones. Once again, overflow. So this is what we have so far. These two were started at the same time. So they were both started on the 31st. And on the 18th, this guy already had roots. This one, right away, he started opening up his little leaves and his little fruit, all of that. He started opening it up, I don't know, within the first week, I would say. And he has looked pretty good since then. But these guys had nothing. They didn't show any signs of anything until the roots grew. And then as soon as the roots grew, within 2 days, they just started going like super crazy. So that's cool. And yeah, so these guys were the first ones to root. And they look so happy. Like they are fine. And look at these little leaves. They look cute. They're definitely needing more nutrients now, I think. And they also need to be getting more sun. So these guys definitely need to be potted up. These guys definitely just are ready to go. There's 2 cuttings in here, I think. I don't know if this is one that's just branches off or if it's 2 different cuttings, but either way they gotta go because they are starting to show signs of stress. Look at the yellowing in the middle. But yeah, they weren't like that like 2 days ago, so we'll see how we handle that. But yeah, basically just plant it up. So is it the 4th or 5th? It's the 5th. So yeah, so this has been a month now, but he just started rooting. Avalanche. And look at that. So they're not a lot of roots yet, but they just started showing up. So they're alive. That's the main thing, that they're alive and they have roots. So I think the worst part is over so far. And look at all of these guys. Yeah, they look happy. See, those are healthy roots. They're big roots too. But yeah, so these guys in the last container that I showed you guys, I told you that they just started rooting, but none of those containers had any roots. That's because I have them all in here. Ooh. So this 4, the ones that have rooted, I have them all in here. So we'll see when they start showing any foliage, but so far, as long as they have roots, I am happy. But anything that's foliage, it's gonna go outside. So I'm already starting to take these guys out to get a little bit of sunlight whenever possible. Not a lot of sunlight, just indirect sunlight, basically. And because I need to take them over to the greenhouse because they are so tall. They're close to 2 feet tall now. And I just don't have the space in here, so they're getting extra leggy. And I just don't have the space. So yeah, so these guys are probably going to stay in here until I see some foliage, and then they're going to go out. These guys need to go out now. All of these 3 already have roots, and they are, let me see, this guy's kneeling over. they're healthy roots, but they're pretty new. So I think these guys have to go into the greenhouse for a little while, but I'm afraid to take them out too early because it's still cold. So we're gonna have to find a balance there, but they are getting tall and we just don't have the space. So between the two figs, this guy, I don't know, he had roots by the 18th. So I'm gonna say that was 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks, after we did this whole little baggy thing. And this guy, it's been a month and he just started doing it today. So this guy is taking longer, but only by like a week, and that's not a long time, so I don't mind. The mulberries, however, so this guy's already rooting, right? They started rooting third, so this was first. I mean second. So this was first, this was second, this was third. And this guy's the guys that I did the first day, the ones that I'm actually, the only reason why I even started doing cuttings this year again was for these guys. And none of these 4 have roots yet. However, look at these little leaves. They are happy, they are green, and they still look fine. Like, I know that they're gonna drop their fruit. Like, see this guy, where is it? Oh, maybe you already dropped it. But they are, basically they have their fruit that they were still trying to hold on to, but they just don't have the energy for it. So they're gonna have to drop them. But aside from that, they look fine, they look happy, they look healthy. So I'm pretty sure that the cuttings are still fine. So it's just a matter of time. But what makes me a little bit more sure about that is this little guy. So when I made the video, there was a clip of me holding the little tiny twigs, the leftover twigs, and I was just like, just let it go, just let it go. And I couldn't let it go. So I actually went ahead and gave them their little baggie as well. And this guy is the same variety as the Pakistan over here, the one that like hasn't rooted at all in this row. But look at this. Oop. Look at this. He was gonna get discarded. Like, all of these little alternants were going to get discarded, and he was the first one to root. So I am super happy that I kept him. So I'm just trying to be patient, because if these guys did it and these guys look super happy, I think they're gonna do it too. They're just taking a little bit longer. Also, the cocoa coir was a little bit lighter in here. It wasn't as wet as the other ones are. So I think that's playing a role into all of this. Yeah, so I'm really excited about this little guy. But so that's a Pakistan. So in general, I'm gonna say I did 5 baggies in here and only one of them has rooted. And I would like to note that it's also one in that little baggie. So, just throwing that out there. So yeah, so this was the first to root, the second to have foliage. This was the first one to have foliage, but the last one to root. This mulberry was the second to root, and I would say the second to have the little guys too, because this guy, the Pakistan Mulberry, had them first, and then this guy came around, and then this guy actually had roots, and then the leafies came around, and then this guy's had roots, and now this guy's have roots without any foliage, and now these guys will have roots even though they've had foliage this whole time. So some things are interesting. Okay, and then I think this is where I went a little bit off the deep end because basically after I did those 2 batches, okay, so I did some lemons. And so I was excited. I got a chance to get a branch from a lemon tree that I've been wanting to clone for a little while. So these are some green cuttings. I saw information on YouTube, I don't know, just conflicting a little bit. So it was kind of hard to tell what's actually going to root. Some people recommended the green part. Some people recommended the woody part. Yeah, so I decided to test out both of those ways and see what works best. And so yeah, so it's in bloom right now. So as you can see, there's a few little flowers here. But I'm pretty sure he's going to drop them. I left very few with that. I think there's only 2. Yeah, there's only 2 with flowers. And I mean, they're not gonna make anything. Right now I just want them to focus on the roots, but I mean, I like the flowers every now and then anyway. And I made all of this, guys, in these little bags because I ran out of the other little baggies. But I'm excited that I did it this way anyway because I think it's gonna work out. I think it's gonna work out better than the other bags. So yeah, and I made this, guys, on the 22nd. So this is way after I did the other 2 batches. But hopefully everything will be fine. I don't think it's too much of an issue with the timing. So I have this, guys. There's 8 of this, guys, of the hardwood. And then there's 8 baggies of the green, you know, skinny little sections here. But this, guys, have doubles because there were so many of those little sections. So well, what is this? Whoa, whoa. Okay, so this, guys, right? They've been falling like this little guys. Oh, there you go. Why won't you focus? Okay, so they've been falling. But look at this guy right here. That's new growth. Oh, that's exciting. The little tiny thing coming out here, that's new growth. Okay, I haven't seen that at all till today, so that's good. I don't expect to see roots till at least 3 more weeks. No, not 3 more weeks, at least 2 more weeks. That's when I expect to see the first few roots, maybe, according to different timetables that I saw online. But I'm willing to wait a little bit longer. I mean, obviously, I really want this, guys. And if the cuttings still look good and healthy outside, I don't see a problem with waiting. But I'm excited. There's new growth. Even if the rest kind of looks like it's just a matter of time because everything falls. Okay, I'm having a little fun with this. But also careful, they have thorns. So yay. I don't see any new growth on this, guys, just yet. But I will keep an eye out, and I'll keep updating you guys on the cuttings because yeah, I don't know. This really helps me when I go back and look for information. Look at this, guys. Oh, yay. Okay, hold on. Look at that. New growth. Oh my goodness. This is exciting. This is really exciting. So that's 1 on the hardwood and then 1 on the softwood. So that should be super exciting. But I had a lot of cuttings and I didn't want to waste them. So I pretty much did everything that I could. So even little guys, even skinny guys, we're all gonna figure it out. So this is kind of just like the overflow of the last batch I've done. And I managed to get another branch for the Pakistan Mulberry, so I'm really excited. And I made some cuttings. They were already awake though, so these guys were already opening up on the tree. So I'm not sure if they're actually gonna make it. Already I've seen that some of these guys are opening, but then the little leaves out here get brown really fast. So I'm not sure if they're gonna make it, but I have to try. And I really hope they do. I really hope they do. Once again, I'm gonna just wait and give them enough time. And if the cuttings still look alive, I'm just gonna let them be. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for dropping by and sticking around to see my cuttings. I had a lot of fun showing you guys the roots and everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed it too. If you do like this kind of content, make sure to follow me. I will be posting more updates on this, guys, along with other videos that I have already on queue. But yeah, thank you guys. If you have any questions, leave me a comment and I will make sure to reply as soon as I get a chance. But I definitely let me know if you guys like this or what you would like to see in the future. And this is Kat signing out. Ciao.